And we're live from the Auburndale Sports Complex in Auburndale, Florida, with CSI Sportsnet coverage of the 2024 spring games. Once again, we got started a bit early as that pitch was skied out to shallow left field. Every runner will move up a base for the Wayne State College Wildcats as they lead the Dolphins now by a score of 3-0. Dolphins still looking for their first out in this game. The Dolphins have been struck by some tough luck in this game, but the Wildcats have consistently put the ball in play, have put good swings on it, and have put the ball in the right place primarily. 3 infield hits in the inning already. The game opened with a tapper to short. No play for Eileen Balderas. Second batter doubled down the left field line, a sharply hit ball that deflected off the glove of Bridget Motley at third base. And then after those 2 base hits, single to the pitcher. Single, single, single. Of those last 3, one of them of the infield variety. Once again, a tough chance for Balderas, who had to charge in aggressively and trying to make the play quickly. She was unable to scoop it up, and that went down as the 3rd infield hit of the inning for Wayne State. In the circle for the Dolphins, Brooklyn Meller. This is the first time we've covered one of her starts on Sportsnet, as she has fallen behind 3-0 here. Mary Kristofiak at the plate, and she takes a strike. A walk here would force in a run, with the Wildcats already leading 3-0. And for those who tuned in to our spring game coverage last year, you might recall that Wayne State jumped out on top of CSI in that game as well, as that's hit to third, and Motley will turn the double play. So the run comes home to score from third, but Motley no longer had that force at the plate once she stepped on the bag. So she made the wise play to go to first base, and the Dolphins get 2 big outs on that play after Meller had fallen behind 3-0 in the count. That officially goes down as a 5-5-3 double play. I'll have to score that very quickly as I'm doubling a statistician and commentator once again. We have that scored properly. Morgan Beatty at the plate here, and she lines one into left field for a base hit. That ball handled quickly in left field by Alyssa Acosta, and that will prevent the run from scoring from second base. Wayne State now has runners on the corners. Still 2 outs in the inning. And Lauren Laddick will be the batter. Laddick gets the start in center field. She's showing bunt ahead of the first pitch, pulls it back and swings as she fouls that one away. They got started about 10 minutes early today. Our first game yesterday got started 30 minutes early. Unlike the Diamondplex, there is not power directly behind the plate, so we had to back up once again. We are being powered by the same set of outlets, giving electric to the ice machine. So we're nice and cool again. We are shaded today, but it's a cloudy day in Auburndale. Dolphins chose the right day to wear their all-black uniforms as the count runs to 2-1 on Laddick. Both teams wearing all black primarily today. The Wildcats with yellow shoulders on their uniforms as Laddick takes ball 3. Brooklyn Meller gets the start for the Dolphins today after Alexandra Frenza and Kennedy Ruth got the starting nods in yesterday's doubleheader. No decision for Frenza, win for Ruth, as Ruth went the distance in Game 2 against California University of Pennsylvania. Foul ball has run the count full on Laddick. Runner on first can move with the pitch. Here comes the 3-2. That's fouled away again. 7 hits in the inning for the Wildcats. But if Meller can escape allowing just the 4 runs, I think the Dolphins will take it. Comes another 3-2. And that's it out to shallow right. Whalen coming in. She has to play it on a hop. And it's now 5-0 Wildcats following a 2-out RBI single by Lauren Laudick. Whalen nearly got there in right field, but was about a step or two away from that ball when it came down. And the Wildcats have now matched exactly what they did against this Dolphins team last season. That sliced the other way toward the left field line, and that is down for another base hit as Jordan Klein will chase home 2. She heads for third and takes the turn, but it is going to be a ground rule double. So that will spare the Dolphins a run if that was ruled a ground rule double. And that indeed will be the case. So the Dolphins could have been down 7-0. Instead will be down 6-0. And if that's not ruled a ground rule double, who knows how far Klein goes. It looks like she was headed home, but the ball was lost. So it is 6-0 Staten Island following the ground rule double. Just scoring that quickly. Every once in a while, you'll get one of those plays that require some extra attention. As the action resumes, Jordan Rochholz will be the batter. Rochholz 1 for 1. Ahead of her, Klein is now 2 for 2 in the game. And that's hit to left. Foul. Once again, we thank everyone who has chosen to join us on YouTube alongside the Flow Softball stream. These games being broadcast exclusively with audio on our CSI Sportsnet YouTube channel. We will have both games today, potentially the first game tomorrow. We will see if time permits. As that pitch misses high. Now, the reason I don't want to promise the first game is because we have an obligation in the afternoon. If the game were to run a bit late, we would have to cut the stream. So we'll see how that plays out tomorrow. If they get started early tomorrow, that would benefit us. And so far, Game 1 has started early both days. That's it out to left, a mile high. Acosta ranging back, and she reaches up to make the catch to retire the side. Wayne State scores 6 times in the top half of the first inning on 9 base hits. Dolphins come to bat in the home first when we come back. And we are back for the home first inning as Eileen Balderas pops the first pitch straight back to the circle. And immediately there's one away in the inning. In the circle for Wayne State, Callie Karaher. Right-hander getting the start. She faces Anissa Acosta, and Acosta takes ball one. Acosta homered in the first game yesterday as she looks at a strike. Dolphins still plenty of time to play within this game, but you always hate to come to bat trailing by 6 as Acosta pops one up to center, and she's quickly retired for the second out. What the Dolphins don't want here is a quick 1-2-3 inning, especially after Meller had to work extremely hard in the first. 8 of the first 9 batters, make it 9 out of the first 10, reached via a base hit. Really an incredible start to the game, as that is lined straight into the glove of the first baseman, Krzysztofiak, and just like that, the Dolphins go down 1-2-3. They saw just 5 pitches in that first inning, and they will head back to the field for the top half of the second after this. And we are back for the road second inning as the Dolphins have sent a new pitcher out to the circle, Alexandra Frenza, who started game 1 yesterday in the circle for CSI. And first pitch in the second inning was flied out into the glove of the left fielder, Alyssa Acosta. Though we can't see the left field corner, so that's a guess on my part. Though I think that was hit too deep to be played by Motley at third. So that was definitely a foul ball as well, FF7. To start the second inning for Wayne State. In the first, as I mentioned before, huge inning for the Wildcats. 9 hits. Those 9 hits came from the first 10 batters in the inning. As that pitch misses high. Emily Marth at the plate. She's 1 for 1. Drove in a run in her first at-bat. They have 3-0 up on the scoreboard, or at least the umpire has 3-0. I thought it was 2-0. But as I mentioned, I'm doubling on stats and commentary, so every once in a while you'll miss a pitch. It's a one-out walk for Marth. And now Anika Manzanares will be the batter. Manzanares also 1 for 1. And she looks at a strike. Comes the 0-1. That misses low. And the 1-1 is fouled away. Count now 1-2. There's one thing that's certain. It's that the Dolphins, by no means, are looking to concede this game. Down 6 in the first. And sometimes that's a decision you'll face, especially as you get deeper into these Florida trips. 10 games in 5 days, no off day for the Dolphins in the middle, as they had last year. And that makes the pitching and managing your staff that much more important, as we have a souvenir. How about that toss by our game day crew member, Pat Fleming? Might have a career in softball ahead of him. Count now full, 3-2. Big pitch here for Frenza. And it's fouled away again, headed toward us, but a bit wide right this time. Here comes another 3-2 pitch. And that misses off the inside corner for ball 4. And that at bat hurts because Meller had to work very hard in the first. Dolphins go to Frenza from there. And now Frenza, after getting a quick first out, has put 2 on. And Lily Tim looks at a strike. Tim 1 for 1. Drove in a run in the first. Comes the 1-0 pitch. That swung on and missed. Oh, and 2 the count on Tim. That's fouled away. And that is into the shrubbery behind home plate. I'm not sure you can call that shrubbery. The plant life here, not exactly like it is in New York. Count remains 0-2. That's fouled away again. Good news for us, as I mentioned before, we're undercover, but we had a foul ball land about 5 feet to our right yesterday. A spectator was struck by that ball. Very easy, if you're not paying attention, to get hit by a ball from another field, as Frenza gets Tim to chase a pitch down in the dirt for strike 3. And there are now 2 away in the inning. That will bring up Mary Kristofiak. Kristofiak 0 for 1, and she looks at a strike. Comes the 0-1. That skips in. Good block behind the plate by Latour. Latour caught game 1 yesterday, did not catch game 2. As that pitch is swung on and missed. It likely does not apply to the native Floridians, but for those who have made the trip down from New York, this is about as good of Florida weather as you could ask for in terms of warm enough, but not too cool. Without the breeze, the weather today is perfect, though Auburndale Sports Complex is completely covered in clouds this morning. That 2-2 is hit on the ground, slowly to short. Balderas gets there and throws to first in time to retire the side. The Wildcats strand a pair in the second, and it's a scoreless inning of relief for Alexandra Frenza. Her Dolphins come to bat, trailing 6-0. Home second inning from Auburndale coming up. Dolphins trail 6-0. CSI went down very quickly, 1-2-3 in the first. A great inning in the circle for Callie Karaher, and her first pitch here in the second is in for a strike. Motley, Warner, Whalen, 4-5-6 for the Dolphins coming up. Motley had a really nice Game 2 yesterday, earning herself a start in Game 1 today. And that's grounded foul down the third base line. Motley quickly in the 2-strike hole. Dolphins scored 5 times in Game 1 yesterday, scored 4 times in Game 2. We'll need some extra offense in this game as that's popped up on the infield right in front of the circle, and it is dropped. That pop-up was dropped by Karaher, and the Dolphins get a gift to open up the home second. Looked like that ball at the last second may have handcuffed Karaher on her way toward home plate. She had to move about 2/3 of the way home to field that ball in fair territory and just didn't make the play as that's grounded to short. Could be 2. Throw to second for 1. On to first in time. 6-4-3 on the double play. And just like that, the base runner is erased on a nicely turned double play by the Wildcats infield. That will bring Victoria Whalen to the plate. Whalen, the reigning East Coast Conference Player of the Week. And she takes a strike. Comes the 0-1. That missed high. Comes the 1-1. That's sliced foul. And they now have 2 softballs in play on field number 3. You get a lot of odd occurrences sometimes at these multi-field facilities when it comes to foul balls. Here comes the 1-2. That's high. As long as I'm not struck by my 3rd foul ball in a year, we'll take it. I don't know any other broadcaster who's been hit multiple times on the air. And we have another foul ball rolling across in front of us as the count runs full on Whalen. We also have some canines in the facility. Impossible not to hear it over our microphone. Here comes the 3-2, and Whalen draws a walk. We've said it time and time again about Whalen. Puts together very good at-bats, sees a lot of pitches, doesn't chase, and very often gets on via the base on balls in terms of number of plate appearances. Didn't have quite as many at-bats as some of the other Dolphins last year, but still ranked up near the top of the team in walks. That will bring Cassidy Latour to the plate. First pitch on its way. And that is taken for ball 1. You can hear the wind over our microphone. And if you didn't know better, you would think there might be a storm on the way. As of the last time we checked, no rain in the forecast today. That is not the case tomorrow. Dolphins are back here in Auburndale tomorrow. And they will take on the University of Minnesota Crookston. And I believe the Mustangs of Southern Minnesota. Though that game might be on Thursday. I don't think so. I think that game is tomorrow. Probably should know that, but schedule's not in front of me at the moment. That changes here, and it is indeed Southwest Minnesota State. So I might have butchered the name, but the Mustangs take on the Dolphins tomorrow at 12:30. The Golden Eagles face the Dolphins at 10 a.m. as Latour takes a strike and the count is 3-1. So once again, keep in mind, tomorrow's second game certainly will not be streamed. Game 1, I think we can swing it as Latour takes strike 2. Whalen can go on the pitch, and that's lined into right center for a base hit. It's cut off nicely in center with a sliding stop by Laudick, and that will force Whalen to stop at third. Dolphins now have runners on the corners with 2 away, and Alyssa Acosta will be the batter. It's very early in this game still, just the second inning. But trailing by 6, the Dolphins would love to get a run in here and chip away at that lead. That double play now looming even larger as well. If they don't get the out at first, this inning looks a lot different, and the Dolphins already have 1 run in. That pitch misses low for ball 1. Acosta, left-handed batter. Corner about halfway at third against her, aligned with the bag. Creeping in a couple of steps with the pitch. And Acosta takes a strike. Count even at 1-1. Pitch on its way. That's top foul. Acosta behind 1-2 now. Carraher looking for a big third strike to strand a pair on base. Dolphins hope to keep a 2-out rally going. Long look in, following the foul ball. The 1-2 on its way, and that misses upstairs. Consults the wristband and delivers the 2-2. And that's hit softly on the ground to second. Easy play there as the throw is over with plenty of time to get Acosta for the final out of the inning. The Dolphins strand a pair on the corners. They still have not scored and trail 6-0 as we head to the third. We are back for the third inning from the Auburndale Sports Complex, where the Dolphins have made another pitching change. Alexis Miramontes in. As it looks like our audio might be a bit low. See if I can take care of that. definitely coming in lower than I hoped to, but that pitch evens the count at 1-1. See if that makes a difference. We're still very low. Very low. That pitch is sliced foul. Count 1-2. At the plate here is Morgan Beatty. And Beatty takes outside. So I found the reason for our lower audio. The reason the audio was down is because I had checked in on the YouTube live stream in the background. So by doing that, it split the audio output on the computer. Did not realize that such a thing could occur. So Beatty tapped one back to Miramontes. She was retired. Our audio levels are back to normal. And immediately after that, on the first pitch, Lauren Laudick skies one to center. So 2 quick outs for Alexis Miramontes here. Back to the top of the order now for the Wildcats, and Jordan Klein will be the batter. Klein is 2 for 2. Dolphins infield comes way in against her, especially on the right side. And she's swinging away as that pitch is fouled off. So Miramontes got the start for the Dolphins against the Wildcats last year. And as was often the case for her, first inning was a struggle. Comes in the third inning of this game as that's tapped short, and throw by Balderas is in time. So that'll do it for the Wildcats in the third. They go down quickly, 1-2-3. Nice inning of relief for Alexis Miramontes. She and the Dolphins trail 6-0. Home third inning getting started. Dolphins send Mariah Carcano to the plate to lead things off. And Carcano looks to bunt down the third baseline, and she's on with a leadoff bunt single. Manzanares did all she could down the third baseline. Seamless transfer, strong throw, not enough. And Carcano reaches. That will bring up Eileen Balderas. Balderas is 0 for 1. Had a very busy first inning in the field. Ball just seemed to find her as that gets away. Now, it looked like that was in the dirt, but we cannot see below the catcher's waist from here. So, really tough to tell. We'll call it a wild pitch, but from our vantage point, really impossible to tell unless it's very blatant. That pitch in for a strike as the count evens at 1. Carcano now in scoring position at second base. That's grounded to short. And it gets through the shortstop and into left field. Carcano never stopped running. She will score. Balderas reaches on an error, and the Dolphins are on the board. They now trail 6-1. No RBI for Balderas. The run for now unearned. But CSI will certainly take it, as Anissa Acosta will be the batter. So I'm attending to some business from back at home. It looks like CSI Baseball is potentially going to move their game to Friday. I'll have to make a phone call in between innings and attend to that. That's tapped foul by Acosta. Balderas on first. Still nobody out. The Dolphins on the board. They trail 6-1. And that is sliced just foul down the first base line. Count remains 0-2 on Acosta. And she takes outside. Wildcats contingent wanted that call on an extended outside corner. Comes a 1-2. And Acosta grounds it foul. TJ battling at the plate here. Still behind 1-2. But with the big bats in the Dolphins' order, one at the plate here and more to come, this is a big plate appearance for her, as that's line foul. Olivia Wanzer stands on deck. That's grounded past the diving third baseman and into left field. Perhaps that was the shortstop with the shift on, as my view was partially obstructed. But nonetheless, Acosta is on with a base hit through the left side, and the Dolphins now have 2 on, still nobody out, and Olivia Wanzer coming to the plate. Acosta did not get all of that one. That was a softly hit ground ball. It looked like she got jammed and just squeezed it between shortstop and third base. And now Wanzer lines one the other way, falling fast, foul ball, just outside of the line. Wanzer 0 for 1 at the plate. Dolphins in the midst of a rally here, still just 1 run in. Helped in large part by the error. 3 straight Dolphins have now reached base, as that misses high. Count even at 1 on Wanzer. And she takes in the dirt. It's the first inning where the Dolphins have really made Karaher work. She cruised through the first 2 innings. And that pitch is taken out of the zone. Ball 3. Wanzer ahead 3-1 now. She is the number 3 hitter, so you would think she might have the green light here, but we'll see. Here comes the 3-1. Wanzer swings and lines one into right center. That's down for a base hit. Once again, a sliding stop in the gap to cut it off by Laudick. However, that does not stop Acosta from going first to third, and the Dolphins now trail by 4, following an RBI single by Olivia Wanzer at 6-2. So the runs in this inning now have all become earned. I always go back and change that before I forget. So we'll get rid of that unearned marker on the Carcano run. The Balderas run, however, will not be earned. She reached on an error, so we'll mark that as such as you get an inside look at the scoring. So the Balderas run unearned. Any run that scores after there are 2 outs in this inning will be unearned. And I say that more for a reminder to myself than anything else, because I will forget. Pen and paper might be a good investment when you're a one-man crew. Bridget Motley will be the batter, following a conference in the circle by the Wildcats. She chops one to second. Flip to the shortstop for one. Throw to first. Not in time. So Motley reaches on the fielder's choice. Acosta does come in to score. And the Dolphins are now within 3. It is 6-3, Wayne State. So Wanzer out at second, 4-6. Acosta in to score. RBI for Motley. Still just 1 out for the Dolphins. As Warner takes a strike. It doesn't help that Warner and Whalen bat one ahead of the other as that's lined into right center. Falling fast, it's down for a hit. Great read by Motley to get to second base, though they didn't have a play regardless. She was already there when that ball came down. And Olivia Warner is on with a base hit. And the Dolphins will now bring the tying run to the plate. CSI just keeping the line moving, and I think that's going to do it for Callie Karaher. 2 great innings for her, and the Dolphins finally break through here in the third, as they've scored 3 times. And there will indeed be a pitching change here for Wayne State. New pitcher on for the Wildcats is number 21, Sophie Stewart, another right-hander. She will face Victoria Whalen when the action resumes in just a few moments. She gets some warm-up tosses. So while we have a break in the action, we'll recap the inning for you. Play-by-play from the beginning. It got started with a Mariah Carcano bunt single down the third base line. Eileen Balderas then reached on an error after Carcano had advanced to second on a wild pitch. Carcano did score when Balderas reached on that error as the ball trickled past the shortstop and into left field. Anissa Acosta then grounded a single through the left side. That advanced Balderas to second. Olivia Wanzer singled home Balderas from second and advanced Acosta to third as she dropped one in the right center field gap. Motley then reached on the fielder's choice. Wanzer out at second. Acosta scored. She was on third. And then Olivia Warner, just moments ago, singled. Motley advanced to second. And that leaves the Dolphins with 2 on, just 1 out, and the tying run will come to the plate in Victoria Whalen. Action set to resume here. First pitch from Stewart on its way. That's in for a strike. Whalen at the plate without an official at bat. Drew a walk her first time up. And Whalen gets out of the way as that was out of the zone. And Whalen takes another called strike. The count now 1-2. And the 1-2 misses. Two balls, two strikes the count on the CSI right fielder. And that got away as that ball rolls all the way to the backstop. Another wild pitch will advance both Dolphins a base. And the count on Whalen is now full. Three balls, two strikes. And Whalen looks at that pitch low for ball 4. And the Dolphins now have the bases loaded. Huge opportunity here for CSI as Cassidy Latour will be the batter. And Latour takes a strike. Latour at the plate, 1 for 1. And she takes low for ball 1. And that misses for ball 2. Since coming in, Stewart has had trouble finding the strike zone. Two and one pitch upcoming. That's popped up. And the infield fly rule is called as the catch is made over at second base. So that one hurts if you're the Dolphins. With one out, they do not get the run in from third. Everyone stays put, and it will be left to Alyssa Acosta. And time is called by Stewart in the circle. That's in for a strike. And that catches the outside corner for a called strike 2. So Acosta now in a 2-strike hole. Bases loaded, 2 outs. 3 runs home for the Dolphins in the road third. I should say the home third. Dolphins the home team in this game. And that's lined foul. Not by much. Count remains 0-2 on Acosta. She takes low. Any run scored from this point forward in the inning would be unearned. Wildcats should have been out of this inning already were it not for the error that came way back when this inning got started. Dolphins looking to do some more damage and capitalize further. Here comes the 1-2. And that's low. Two balls and two strikes the count. And Acosta takes outside for ball three. So Acosta battles back from a two-strike hole to run the count full. And there is nowhere to put the Dolphins' left fielder. A walk would force in a run. The Fanatics making some noise next to the CSI dugout. Here comes the 3-2. And that misses down and away for ball four as Acosta battles back from behind 0-2 to draw the walk. And that will force in a run. It is now 6-4, and CSI has batted around here in the third inning. Mariah Carcano will come to the plate for the second time. What an inning for CSI, as it looks like the Dolphins are making a change here. Whether that's at the plate or on the base paths remains to be seen. All right, so Carcano is going to be pinch hit for. We'll just await the pinch hitter. And Elizabeth Moore comes out of the Dolphins dugout. Carcano got this rally started. And now Moore has a chance to tie the score with a base hit or potentially give CSI the lead if she can find a gap. And the first pitch is swung on and missed for strike one. Stewart has walked two since coming into the game. The Dolphins generally have been very patient at the plate in this game, but Moore chased that pitch a bit low. It looked like that one was out of the zone. Again, our vantage point, not a great one for tracking the pitches. Comes the 0-1. And Moore puts it in play, hits it softly to first. But making the play on her own, stepping on the bag, was Krzysztofiak for the final out of the inning. But not before the Dolphins score four times. They pulled to within two. Our score, Wayne State 6, Staten Island 4. We're back for the home half of inning number 4. And the Dolphins are within 2 runs as they have taken a big chunk out of a 6-run lead for the Wildcats. Wayne State will to get some of that back here as they bat for the 4th time. Leading things off, Jordan Rochholz. Rochholz 1 for 2. That's popped up on the infield, and charging in to make the play was Acosta. One away. Haley Weber will be the batter. Weber also 1 for 2, entering her 3rd turn at bat. First pitch from Alexis Miramontes. Hits the batter. So Weber's on via the hit by pitch. And the Wildcats now have a one-out base runner. That pitch is in for a called strike to Emily Marth. Marth 1 for 1 with a walk. She's driven in a run. Left-handed batter. Corner in at first. Motley creeping in at third. And that's in for a called strike, too. I didn't get him. That pitch sails high. One and two, the count on Marth. And the pitch from Miramontes on its way. That's outside. Comes the 2-2. And that misses low as the count runs full. 3 balls and 2 strikes. Comes the payoff pitch, and that's hit past the circle. Warner flips the second for 1, and that's all they'll get. So the Dolphins do get the lead runner, and there are 2 away in the inning. Anika Manzanares, the batter. She's 1 for 1. Has drawn a walk, and she takes down and in. We've been treated to some good ones so far down here in Florida. Game 1 saw the Dolphins come back. They were down 3 in that game, tied the score, took the lead 5-4 before late in that game, Bemidji State was able to pull away. They scored the last 4 and won 8-5. Count 1-1 here on Manzanares. And she grounds one to third. Nice job by Motley to handle a tough hop. She's shaking out her right hand as that ball hit her on the wrist. She basically played that one without the glove, but she did enough to get the out, and the side is retired. Wildcats strand 1 in the 4th inning. CSI comes to bat, looking to get even, trailing 6-4. And we're back with one pitch and one out. As Balderas grounds out to the right side. I did not see if that hit the first baseman's glove. We think it did, so it's going to be 3-4-3 on the putout. Just for the sake of being precise, we'll get that put in. And there's one away in the home fourth. Anissa Acosta, the batter. So a programming note for those tuning in that would also be tuning in for baseball this weekend. That game is likely going to get moved. So CSI Baseball was scheduled to play on Saturday. The rain likely not going to allow that, as Acosta swings and misses for strike two. CSI Baseball looks like it's going to move to Friday morning at 9 a.m. There may not be a broadcast of that game either, since a lot of our crew may have other obligations. I know Lewis won't be there to stat the game. At least I don't think so, based on his schedule. And he won't be there. We also need to figure out how we're going to get the equipment back as well. So, definitely some things to take care of. Count on Acosta 1-2. That's fouled away. That pitch misses high. So Acosta battling her way back in another at-bat. We saw this earlier. Stayed alive, fought off some tough pitches. Now the count runs full as that misses for ball three. That's sliced foul. Acosta stays alive. The count 3-2. And she takes inside for ball four. Great at bat for TJ there. She draws the walk. That's the third walk issued by Sophie Stewart. And now Olivia Wanzer comes to the plate as the tying run. That pitch to Wanzer misses up and away. She's ahead 1-0. That pitch is in for a called strike. Count 1-1 on the Dolphins' designated player. And that's it well out to left field. That ball headed toward the wall, and it's gone! Olivia Wanzer with a game-tying two-run homer, and CSI has come all the way back from 6 runs down. They are now even at 6. Wanzer homers once again as she is greeted by her teammates around home plate. And the Dolphins have erased a 6-run first-inning deficit here in the fourth as Wanzer delivers CSI's second home run in as many days. Yesterday, it was a game-tying home run for Acosta. Today, it is Wanzer who levels the score at 6. That will bring up Bridget Motley. Motley at the plate in this game, 0 for 2. And she steps into the box for her third turn at bat. Pitch on its way. And that's at the knees for a called strike. That misses low. Still attending to some business back at home as CSI Baseball is on the verge of being officially moved to Friday. Working on staffing for that game as that is snow-coned over at second base on a soft line drive. Good play there over at second base by Lily Tim as I'm bouncing back and forth between email, text message, scoring the game, and calling the game. So I apologize for the breaks in my speech. But Motley's out. And there are 2 gone in the inning. Olivia Warner will be the batter. That pitch in for a called strike. That's in for a called strike, too. Warner in a 2-strike hole, and she swings and misses for strike 3. So at some point there was a pitching change. I missed it. So we'll go and see when that pitching change took place, and we'll be right back. First pitch in the 5th inning is lined into left center, where it's backhanded by Mariah Carcano, who is able to hold Lily Tim to a single. But that was a well-struck single as she ripped that one into the left center field gap. And just like that, the Wildcats have a leadoff base runner. So as I mentioned, heading into the break, there was a pitching change. That pitching change took place to start the last inning. So it was not Sophie Stewart who pitched that last inning. It was Grace Luca who pitched that inning. She came on to start the inning. The pitching change certainly was not missed during the inning, as that's grounded foul by Mary Kristofiak. Kristofiak at the plate, 0 for 2. And that's bunted right in front of the plate. Only play is to first. And that will go down as a sacrifice, advancing Tim to second. One away and a runner in scoring position for the Wildcats now. And Morgan Beatty will be the batter. Beatty at the plate, 1 for 2. Hopefully I didn't miss a change there, as there was a conference going on in the Dolphins dugout. We're working on getting some additional power to our setup here, as our MacBook's going to need some juice soon. That will have to wait, as the first pitch to Beatty's on its way. And that's grounded through the left side for a base hit. Balderas with a great effort. Throw is cut off, and the Wildcats take the lead right back. It's an RBI base hit for Morgan Beatty as Tim scores from second, and Wayne State takes the lead back, 7-6. All right, so there was a pinch runner. I did miss a change. Very quickly, the Wildcats sent a pinch runner into the game. So before we score that base hit, we'll score the pinch runner. Pinch runner came in for Tim. As that's it out to right center, that's down for a hit. And Beatty will advance just one base. All right, so I'm a little behind here. We're catching up, though. So I'll be quiet for a minute, as it looks like we're going to have another change. So, Pat, why don't you keep an eye on the base paths for me? It looks like we might have another pinch runner, or perhaps a pitching change for the Dolphins. That gives me a chance to catch up. All right, we're all caught up.
Number 1, CSI.
All right, so Kennedy Ruth is going to come on to pitch for the Dolphins. She will be the 4th pitcher used by CSI in this game. Ruth was a winner yesterday in a complete game effort, as the Dolphins defeated California University of Pennsylvania 4-1. We got our MacBook some extra power, and we should be all good the rest of the way. First batter Ruth will face is going to be Jordan Klein. Ruth throwing her warm-up tosses. So while she does that, and I'm still communicating with everyone back at home in New York regarding the baseball game, I'll step aside for 30 seconds, and we'll be right back. And we are back from the Auburndale Sports Complex. Dolphins now trailing again 7-6 after they tied the score in the previous half inning on an Olivia Wanzer 2-run homer. First pitch to Jordan Klein misses for ball 1, and the second pitch misses for ball 2. Klein 2 for 3 at the plate. 2 base hits and an RBI for her in 3 at-bats. She's ahead here 2-0. Dolphins a bit in on the right side. And at third, Balderas regular depth. And that pitch misses for ball 3. Here comes the 3-0. And that catches the outside corner. Wildcats scored 6 in the first. Scored for the first time since here in this half inning. Dolphins 4 in the third, 2 in the second. And that misses way upstairs for ball 4. Bases are now loaded. And Jordan Rotschultz will be the batter. Rotschultz 1 for 3. And the Dolphins have nowhere to put her here. And Rotschultz takes inside for ball 1. Comes the 1-0. And Rotschultz checked the swing, but took a strike. Here comes the 1-1. And that's hit softly to third. Motley comes home with it. The Dolphins get the out there, but that's all they will get. CSI does cut down the runner at the plate, and there are 2 away. Wayne State still leading 7-6. That will leave it to Haley Weber. And Weber takes low for ball 1. Weber 1 for 2 at the plate. Had an RBI base hit. Came back in the first. Chance here to do some more damage. Here comes the 1-0. That's popped up, foul territory, and out of play. Count even at 1. Here comes the 1-1 pitch. That's popped up on the infield. Motley's got it, and the side is retired. So Kennedy Ruth works around a walk and is able to escape trouble in the 5th inning. She strands the bases loaded. The Wildcats settle for 1 run. They lead it once again, 7-6. And we're back for the home 5th with the Dolphins now trailing once again, this time just by a run. Wayne State with a 7-6 lead. Lily Tim did re-enter over at second base. She is back in the game after being pinch run for in the previous half inning. And Victoria Whalen slices that one foul. Grace Luca still in the circle. She gave up a couple of runs on a walk and a base hit, struck out a batter in the previous inning. However, she is now in line to be the winning pitcher. And Whalen takes just off the outside corner. One and two the count on the CSI right fielder. This game's still just in the fifth inning. This has been a long one. As that misses up and away. Keep in mind they did start early. This game was scheduled for a 10 o'clock start. They probably started at about 9:50. We got on the air, I believe, 2 or 3 batters into the game. We first had to find a power source and then had to configure our audio, which has been giving us headaches for 2 days now, as Whalen swings and misses for strike 3. That will bring up Cassidy Latour. And Latour takes ball 1. Here comes the 1-0. That's ball 2. And Latour takes a strike. And that is in for a called strike 2. That pitch is popped up and foul ground, out of play. Count remains 2-2, and Latour takes outside for ball 3. And Latour swings and misses at strike 3 as she went after the high fastball. 2 gone now in the home 5th, and Alyssa Acosta will be the batter. Acosta takes away for ball 1. And the 1-0 is sliced foul. Acosta at the plate in this game 0 for 1. Has drawn a walk. That forced in a run, so she's credited with an RBI. Mariah Carcano would be next if Acosta can keep the inning going. Here comes the 1-1. That's in for a called strike. 1-2 the count on the CSI left fielder. Pitch on its way. And Acosta fights that one off foul as she just got a piece. One ball and 2 strikes remains the count. And Acosta hits one off the fists straight to third, where the catch is made by Manzanares for the final out of the inning. The Dolphins go down 1-2-3 in the 5th, and we head to the 6th, with the Wildcats leading 7-6. Top of the 6th, with Wayne State leading Staten Island 7-6 as that's hit out to left center field, where Carcano is positioned perfectly to make the catch for out number 1. Emily Marth retired on 1 pitch. That will bring up Anika Manzanares. Manzanares 1 for 2. And that pitch misses out of the zone for ball 1. Dolphins going to have a very short turnover for their second game, regardless of how this game ends, as that pitch is in for a called strike. Their next game scheduled for 12:15. That's popped up. Foul ball. And it lands among the spectators. Pitch on its way from Ruth. That misses high. Count 2 balls and 2 strikes. And that is in for a called strike 3. And Zanaris goes down looking. And there are now 2 away in the inning. Lily Tim will be the batter. Tim 2 for 3 with an RBI in this game. 2 hits and a strikeout in her 3 at-bats. Was pinch run 4 last time she got on, and the pinch runner did come around to score. That's sliced foul. Count 0-2. Here comes the 2-strike offering from Ruth. That's at a mile high on the infield. Balderas calls off Motley and makes the catch to retire the side. Wildcats go down 1-2-3, and I think we just had our 6 quickest outs of the game consecutively as the Dolphins will come right back to the plate, trailing by a run. Mariah Carcano leads off for the Dolphins here in the home half of the 6th. CSI still trailing by just a run. Carcano got the rally started for CSI back in the 3rd. They scored 4 in that inning, 2 in the inning that followed. As she dribbles one toward the circle, it was off the glove of the pitcher Luca, but her shortstop is there to back her up as Rothschultz made a strong throw to first to get Carcano for the first out. Officially 1-6-3 on the putout, and that will bring up Eileen Balderas. Balderas with a rare 0 in this game. She's 0 for 3. And the commentator's jinx is engaged as she lines the first pitch into center field. Eileen now 1 for 4 with a base hit. Balderas wasting no time going after the first pitch. She lined it right back through the middle. And now Anissa Acosta will be the batter. She represents the go-ahead run. And we saw how dangerous she could be at the plate yesterday. Crushed one over the left field wall. Dolphins already with a home run in this game as Acosta takes outside for ball 1. Acosta 1 for 2 at the plate. 3 RBIs in this game. Couple of base hits, and that might be 3 if it gets down, but it stays up in the air long enough for Laudick to get over and make the catch. And there are 2 gone. That will bring up Olivia Wanzer. Wanzer is 2 for 3 with 3 RBIs. I may have misspoke as well. Acosta was 1 for 3 without an RBI. She's drawn a walk in the game, but I gave Wanzer's line instead of Acosta's line ahead of that last at bat as Wanzer takes a strike. That pitch in the dirt. Balderas tries it, and she is out. Caught stealing on the play, Eileen Balderas. I thought she may have gotten in there under the tag. And I won't name names, but there are some other people who agreed with me. I thought Balderas was safe. I'm hearing murmurs of way safe. But the Dolphins are retired, and that'll do it for CSI in the 6th inning. Big caught stealing at second, denies the Dolphins a runner in scoring position, and we head to the 7th. Wayne State leading Staten Island 7-6. Seventh inning from the Auburndale Sports Complex as the Dolphins were on the wrong end of that call at second base in the previous half inning. And the Dolphins did make a change in the field. Good eye by Pat Fleming. The change at second base. Warner comes out, and Sabrina Caffel is in. I think that's the only change for CSI here. But if I catch anything else, I'll have to make that addition later. At the plate for Wayne State, Mary Kristofiak. She's 0 for 2, and that's sliced foul as she went after a 2-0 pitch there. I'm mildly surprised to see that from the number 7 hitter in a one-run game. So we discussed it off-air during the break about the decision by Balderas to try and take second there. There was agreement among our contingent here that she was safe. But with Wanzer at the plate as the go-ahead run, we had split opinions on whether or not it was a good decision to run there. Personally, I liked it, as that's sliced foul, mostly because we think Balderas made the right read there and thought she was safe. But even with that aside, put the tying run in scoring position rather than at first base is a huge difference late in the game. That being said, Wanzer did already have a home run against the pitcher she was facing, so that's the other side of that coin. As the count runs full, 3-2. In fact, that was ball 4, so we were missing one pitch here in our stat tracker and on the scoreboard, as we're going to have a pinch hitter or a pinch runner. I think it's a pinch runner at first. Now, our binoculars are back in New York, so that doesn't help us here. I'm going to take a walk over and get the number. I'll be right back. It's not. They just told me it's not. All right, we had to get the pinch runner, so I had to sprint off headset as Balderas dropped the ball at short on a diving attempt, and it nearly turned it into a double play. And I think the umpire called the batter out initially. We'll see which runner stays on base, and the Dolphins get the double play. He did call the runner out at first. How about that? That is, I think, technically a 6-6, 4-3 double play. Balderas had it in her glove and dropped it on a diving attempt. And that worked out well because she then was able to throw to second, and the batter, Morgan Beatty, stopped running to first thinking she was out. You really can't blame her. But Balderas didn't have the ball in her glove very long, so that's the right call. Lauren Laudick, the batter here, she's behind 0-1, and the Dolphins get a break there. They get 2 outs on the play. That is as unusual a double play as you'll see. 2 gone. Count 0-1 on Laudick, as there was a conversation behind home plate ahead of the 0-1 pitch. That conversation continues between the umpires. That's popped up, and Acosta did not get there. 0-2 the count. Dolphins hoping for a chance, down just a run in the 7th. And that misses up and away. That's fouled back again. One and two, fouled off a third time. Good battle here by Laudick to stay alive. Count remains 1 ball and 2 strikes. And that's fouled off again. The battle continues. Ruth and Laudick. And that misses away, ball 2. Well, looks like CSI's opponent for their next game has arrived at the field. That is St. Cloud State University that awaits CSI in game 2 today. And Ruth misses up high for ball 3. As I mentioned before, that game's scheduled for approximately 12:15. If that start time holds, which you think it will because there are other games scheduled on these fields throughout the day, Dolphins are going to have a very short turnaround. They might not even switch dugouts as they're on the same field. And the at-bat ends in a walk. So Laudick works her way back in the count and turns an 0-2 count into a 2-out walk. That will bring up Jordan Klein. She's 2 for 3. 2 base hits, a walk, and an RBI in her 3 at-bats. And she swings and misses for strike 1. Comes the 0-1. That's in for a called strike 2. And there's a swing and a miss for strike 3. Klein went up the ladder after a fastball. Ruth had her overmatched in that at bat. And the Dolphins will come to the plate in the 7th, trailing by 1 run. Our score, Wayne State 7, Staten Island 6. Home 7th inning getting started from the Auburndale Sports Complex. CSI down to their final 3 outs, trailing 7-6. But they have 3, 4, and 5 due up. Grace Luca back to the circle for Wayne State. She surrendered the tying runs, however, got some run support from her team and is now in line to win. And Olivia Wanzer pops it up, foul territory on the infield where the catch is made by Kristofiak for the first out. That will bring up Bridget Motley. Motley is 0 for 3. Motley had a couple of hits in Game 2 yesterday. The Dolphins could really use one in this spot. And that misses way outside for ball 1. Comes the 1-0. And that's low for ball 2. Well, if there's one thing you'd like to avoid here in the circle, it's walks. Don't give the Dolphins a chance to win it with another home run because you put a runner on via the base on balls. You can afford to attack. It's 2-0. And that misses low for ball 3. So Luca has missed with 3 straight now. Motley certainly will not be swinging here. Would they have her take 2? She'll be taking at least 1. And she takes ball 4. As it smells like the funnel cakes are out here. The entire commentary and stats desk whipping their heads around. An unmistakable smell coming from the concession stand. And we only have a few minutes between games. Might have to hustle over. So the Dolphins will send Olivia Warner back into the game. She will re-enter and would play second base if the game continues. Warner at the plate, 1 for 3. Pitch on its way. That's it for a strike. Comes the 0-1. That's outside. Dolphins have put together a lot of good at-bats in this game, as have the Wildcats, but these pitching staffs have had a tough time getting easy outs. A big reason why this game has now extended over the 2-hour mark. There's a swing and a miss, and the count is 1-2. Warner behind, 1-2. Pitch on its way. And that is swung on and missed for strike 3. Dolphins are now down to their final out. And Victoria Whalen will come to the plate. Whalen, 0 for 1, has drawn 2 walks and struck out. And she fouls back the first pitch. Expect a very quick turnaround ahead of Game 2. Separate stream for the audio, but you can find that link over on our CSI Sportsnet YouTube channel landing page. CSI taking on St. Cloud State University coming up next. Now, I thought CSI's opponent had gathered to watch the conclusion of this game, but that is, in fact, fellow East Coast Conference team, Queens College, taking in the end of this game. Of course, they'll see the Dolphins 4 times this year. Count 1-1 on Whalen, and she lines one the other way. Fair ball down the line. Motley heads for third, and she is held up there as the ball reached the infield with plenty of time, and the Dolphins have runners on the corners with 2 outs in the 7th. Whalen dropped that one just inside the right field line. We couldn't see it from where we were. Had to gauge the reaction of Tracy Garofalo over at third, as well as the base runner. But Whalen doubles, or I should say singles, into the corner as she stopped at first. And that will advance Motley to third. That ball was hit hard as they pinch run over at first. Kristen Cardillo comes in for Whalen. Cassidy Latour with an opportunity to tie this game with a base hit. Cardillo represents the winning run over at first. Motley, the tying run at third. 2 outs, 7th inning. And Latour takes a strike. Latour is 1 for 3. Middle infielders leaving a lot of room up the middle. Huge hole between second and short here. And Latour takes low for ball 1. Dolphins brought the tying run to the plate yesterday in their loss against Bemidji State in the final inning. Lost by 3. The winning run now stands on first, tying run at third. Here comes the 1-1. And that misses inside. Two and 1 the count on Latour. Luca consults the wristband. Here comes the 2-1 pitch. And that is low as they paid no attention to Cardillo over at first. She steals second. Latour is ahead. 3-1. But Cardillo is now in scoring position as Latour chased ball 4 there. That pitch was way upstairs. She swung straight through it. That rising fastball, a good one for Luca. We've seen it all game. She already has 4 strikeouts and is looking for one more right here to put this one in the books. 3-2 the count, 2 in scoring position, 2 outs in the 7th. Pitch on its way. And that's popped up on the infield. And the catch is made at second as the Wildcats hold on to beat the Dolphins. CSI falls 7-6, stranding the tying run at third and the winning run at second. But still a resilient, gutsy effort for the Dolphins, who came from 6 runs down in the first inning, tied the score, and fell just short here in the 7th. As I mentioned before, very quick turnaround ahead of our second game, so we will step aside right here, get our Game 2 statistics set up, get our stream ready to go, and we should be back with you in about 10 minutes, maybe a bit more, as the Dolphins are scheduled to take on St. Cloud State University at 12:15 p.m. That game is going to be played right back here on field number 2 at the Auburndale Sports Complex. So stay tuned to CSI Sportsnet for full play-by-play coverage of that game coming up next. And thanks for watching this game between the College of Staten Island and Wayne State College. Once again, the Dolphins fall by a final score of 7-6.